What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with one of the most amazing young men's open bodybuilding talent that we all missed on the stage this year. Carlos Thomas Jr. So we all know he was supposed to compete at this year's Arnold Brazil, and he was actually getting ready for that show up until 6 weeks out when we got his one and only full physique update. But a close death in his family, that is what forced him to skip the Arnold Brazil when he was only a few weeks out of that show. And with the kind of lineup that we saw at this year's Arnold Brazil, Rafael Brandao, Tonio Burton, and Kurt Vito, I think it would have been so amazing to see Carlos on that same stage. And just to freshen up your memory, Rafael Brandao looked the most vulnerable in that show, and Carlos thinks he would have fought for the title. And I am bound to agree with him, because the kind of muscle and the kind of freak factor and the mass that this guy has, that is so undeniable. Now, we don't know whether he would have won that show, but I think he would have certainly been in the mix. Another thing that we do know is that Carlos is confirmed for this upcoming Detroit Pro in 2025, which is happening right after the Arnold Tour. And another thing that we have to keep in mind, this is only gonna be his second pro show after turning pro. Now, as a short bodybuilder, Carlos has one of the most amazing structure, with great thickness, amazing density, that too from every angle front to back, and from the side as well. Yes, he needs more back thickness, but he has been working on that for quite some time now. So it has been a while since he stepped on stage, because the last show that he did, that was Texas Pro last year against Andrew Jacked and Hunter Labrada. And we all expect to see some major improvements regarding his biggest weakness, which is his back. The next time he's up on that stage, we expect to see a whole lot of improvements on his physique. I think we can all agree on this. Carlos wasn't even close to his 100%, especially in terms of conditioning, at Texas Pro last year. And if he can unlock a new level of conditioning for this year's Detroit Pro, he has a physique well worthy of stepping on the Olympia stage next year. But do let me know what you guys think. Next up, we have an update from Nathan Deisha, who is just shy of 300 pounds during his off-season. So Nathan is very strategic in terms of how much money he makes and in terms of the shows that he enters, because he wants to make the maximum out of every single show, every single prep that he does. And considering that the prize money, that is going to be at its all-time high next year, I think he is going to hit the stage very hard and multiple times. And he is going to do a number of shows, as he has been doing for the last couple of years. So for many IFB pros, it is their lifelong dream to step on Miss Olympia stage. But for Nathan, it is just another show. And his statistics, they speak for themselves. 11 times IFB Pro winner. And that number could have been a lot higher, considering all the close calls that he had throughout his career. So the last time he stepped on the Olympia stage, that was a long time ago, back in 2018. So it's safe to say, he isn't gonna be stepping on the Olympia stage again, just like he has done for the last 6 years. And we have to keep in mind, he was qualified for the Olympia 5 out of these last 6 Olympias. But that being said, he can of course do some other big shows, like the Arnold Ohio. He is definitely doing Dubai Tour next year, hoping to beat Behrouz Tabani, a guy who Nathan hasn't been able to beat in all the 3 shows that these guys have done together. So considering Nathan made his Olympia debut back in 2016, he is a veteran of the sport, and he himself said that he is gonna give himself 2 more years and then retire from the sport, and that was last year. Next up, we have the physique update from Seth Fazi, who is on his way to make this long-awaited comeback. And I have got to say, the man looks insanely shredded for someone who is months out of his next show. So his current conditioning, that just makes you wonder how he is gonna slack down to make that 212 weight cutoff, because right now he weighs 10 pounds over that 212 weight cutoff. So maybe Seth is gonna do a men's open bodybuilding show and show the world his real potential. So whatever he does, this is gonna be a good comeback, because Seth has a lot of loyal fans and people who have been following him for so many years, even a decade after his retirement. We have to keep in mind, back then, there was very little social media. Now the comebacks, especially if they are at such an elite level, and when the expectations are so high, they are always very unrealistic. Because while Seth hasn't been blasting things for all these years, all the guys who Seth is aiming to beat, they have been going balls to the walls, year after year, and they have had their foot on the gas all this time. Now, Seth in his prime, he was known for having those massive quads, insane level of conditioning. So if he looks like this, even when he is months out of his next show, he is for surely gonna bring his trademark conditioning. So will his waist look a bit wider? Because that's the one thing that comes with age, and that is what we have to wait and see. Next up, we have the update of 2 times former Olympia champion, Big Ramy. So this chef kinda outangled Big Ramy. Now the fans will always wonder, does he has one more show left in him, or is he done for good? So Ramy turned 40 years old 2 months ago, which only means that if he is to make a comeback, if he plans to do that, then it has got to be in 2025. The last show that Big Ramy did, that was Arnold 2023, where he finished 4th. But his camp and his team, and he himself still believes that his Arnold 2023 physique, that was one of his all-time best. And I have got to say, a lot of the bodybuilding legends, some very big names of the industry, they disagreed with the results at the Arnold that year. He transformed his physique a lot in just a few months from the Olympia to the Arnold. And honestly, the fans were hoping that he would definitely do the Olympia and try to get that Olympia title back. But that just did not happen. Now, realistically speaking, Big Ramy is at the tail end of his career, so the chances of him winning the Olympia again, they are just zero at this point. But truth be told, we aren't really sure whether he wants to ever do the Olympia again or not. So if this comeback happens, this is purely gonna be for the love of the sport and his fans. Nevertheless, his legacy has already been cemented as a 2 times Olympia champion and one of the biggest guys we have ever seen on the Olympia stage. We saw a great men's open bodybuilding debut by Lorenzo this year, and the show that he did, that was Italy Pro. And we had guys like Hunter Labrada, Andrea Presti, and Bruno Santos in that show. So Lorenzo placed a valiant 4th. But the size that he brought at his first ever men's open show, that was noticeable. That was really hard to ignore. So Lorenzo has an incredible chest development, and he has been working with Patrick Tour as his coach. So his off-season, that has been going extremely well. Even weeks after stepping off the stage, his current off-season conditioning, that looks so impressive. So Lorenzo needs to put on some more size on his frame. His quads need a bigger outer sweep. But just compare what his physique looked like just 1 year back to now, this one, and the improvements that he has been able to make. So with another solid off-season under his belt, he will come back a lot more combative than what we saw this year. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.